What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this video. So, are you scared of taking on a virtual assistant? Now, I know that I was. Now, there was many reasons that I was scared of doing this. So let me just outline a few things that you may be feeling about taking on a virtual assistant. Now, the first and foremost is money. Can your business afford it? Now, obviously, you've got to look at your own business to assess whether it can afford it. But there's not many OA businesses that are doing a reasonable amount that couldn't afford a virtual assistant. So I would say whether you can afford it, the question is, can you afford not to have a virtual assistant? Think about this. If you get a sourcing virtual assistant, for example, they should be finding you on average 8 to 10 good winners a day pretty soon, okay, once they're reasonably trained up. So the amount of profit that they could be making you, getting you on listings that aren't available to everyone else. It's not a deal sheet. It's not being handed out to 30, 40 people or whatever. So the possibility of you getting deals just from a sourcing VA, as using them as an example, the question you've got to ask yourself is, are you missing out on... By the way, I'm not selling sourcing assistants here. So this is a completely non-biased opinion. But can you afford to not have one? That's the question you should be asking yourself. What about an admin virtual assistant, okay? Can you afford to not be getting an admin assistant? What about the growth that you could be getting in your business by not using an admin assistant? I've got an admin assistant, I've got a sourcing VA. They save me hours and hours and hours and hours, and that allows me... I'm going to see huge growth this month because it's allowed me to focus on different areas of the business. Not only to get my mental clarity back to look at other income streams later on, even start thinking about it because I've got some time back, but also the practicality of having this time back to grow the business, to spend this time sourcing more stock, if that's what I want to do, just to add another layer on. But generally, no. Generally I'm spending my time on the systems to get another staff member in order to grow. So the question comes, if you're scared of getting an admin VA, if you're scared of getting a sourcing VA, the question that, looking back on this, having been scared myself, when it comes down to the actually value and you thinking you don't want to give any money away, you need to think about that, because you could be losing money not having one, and you probably are losing money not having a virtual assistant. So that's number one, the money side of things. You've got to be real with yourself and think, are you actually losing money not having them? Because my guess is that you are. If you do it correctly, then you should be making more money having the virtual assistants. That's what they're there for. They're team members, they're your staff, yeah? They should be making you money, and if they're not, then obviously they need to go. So the second one is just being generally scared of sort of the growth and getting out your comfort zone of sort of having staff, the systems around it, the admin, all the systems you've got to put in place to actually make sure that the systems are running well, like sorting out spreadsheets for them, sorting out files. Are you going to be a good boss? Have you got the time, etc.? Now, and specifically more on this side of things, just being scared of having a staff member. Let me just tell you, everything happens, every growth that you get, if you want this business to grow, if you want that growth, if you want that longevity in this business, I promise you, everything is on the other side of fear. So once you break past this, I was terrified of taking on virtual assistants. It was a massive deal to me. Every time I had an interview with a possible candidate, I made a big deal of it. It was like a whole day's job for me, essentially, because I just built it up and built it up. It's unnecessary now. These things come easy. Why? Because I went out there and I did it. And once you do it, once you get to the other side of fear, specifically in this situation, it becomes really easy, and you realize that they're just another human, and you start getting on really, really well with them. They're another human. They're looking for a good life just like you are. You work with them, you build a good relationship. My virtual assistants they're almost my friends. We get on really well. It's really easy to look at it as this big scary thing when it's not. They just become your friends. You get a really good relationship with them. So if you're scared of hiring for the sake of being scared, which I was, by the way, and that's totally fine, you need to break past that, because the longer you don't do it, the more scared you're going to be later on down the line. And I promise you, once you find the right virtual assistants, it's just a really nice, glorifying feeling, and you feel like you've got a little family working around you. So that is my advice. A couple of things there. If you are scared of hiring a virtual assistant, it's a necessary step for the business, and I'm looking at a really big year now. I've gone ahead and done this. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, it takes a while to get the system processes in place, especially for the admin virtual assistants, but it's something that over time will get easier and easier and easier, and then the sky becomes the limit. So I hope that's helped someone, and I'll speak to you all soon.